The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello and welcome to TV1 News. I'm Mary Silla Kelleton.
And I'm Terry Longwood. I'll join you later with sports news.
In this edition, digital life skills for life, schools address food insecurity, Andy Gilla embraces debut. Digital Life Skills for Life is this year's theme for the International Girls in Information and Communication Technology Day. Today, PNG's National Information and Communications Authority facilitated a forum at the Stanley Hotel in Port Moresby to celebrate women in the ICT space and encourage young women who are considering a career in ICT to pursue those dreams. For girls and women to thrive in science, technology, engineering and mathematics careers, they need to acquire skills to become both ICT users and creators in the digital world. That's why, in consultation with youth, the International Telecommunication Union, or ITU, identified Digital Skills for Life as the theme for Girls in ICT 2023. Today, ITU member PNG's National Information and Communications Authority, or NICTA, brought together women and girls from various organizations and institutions to inspire and encourage girls to pursue a future in ICTs and to empower them by ensuring they have the necessary skills, confidence and support to achieve their goals. On the panel for ICT entrepreneurship, young girls in the audience got to hear stories from women who currently hold ICT positions.
I run my business, consulting for several large companies in the enterprise resource planning space, or short for ERPs. The journey is not smooth being an entrepreneur. You have to work hard and you have to make the money, you have to pay the bills. You have to grow your business, and you have to also make sure that you are compliant when you're running a business. It's also very challenging when you're a woman as well, but we have very good support from, I would say, our male champions who have seen our work and they say, lift us up, lift our girls up to work very hard and to break those barriers as well. So
for us, IT, information is at our fingertips. You can tell them, I'll take a look at it and get back to you. And taking a look at it means going and watching YouTube videos and researching Google, Mr. Google, to find a solution to the problem and solving it. So that's the mentality that all IT professionals should have. That we should never turn away anyone that comes to us with a problem. And entrepreneurship is about solving problems.
ITU made an observation that today's ICT world reveals that still a great number of men pursue careers in ICT than women. NICTA's efforts to supporting women pursue careers in ICT include the Girls in ICT Tertiary Scholarship launched in 2012. The PNG University of Technology celebrated International Girls' Day in ICT Day today at the Taraka campus in Lae. With the theme, Digital Skills for Life, the female students were encouraged and empowered to take up roles in information and communication technologies.
International Girls in ICT Day, which is an International Telecommunication Union global initiative, takes place on the fourth Thursday of April every year. This year, the event fell on April 27th and was commemorated by the PNG University of Technology's ICT Services Department. ICT Support Officer Reggie Ann Banjua outlined that by celebrating girls in ICT, more girls and women will be encouraged to take up the traditionally male-dominated field. Four main speakers joined the event today. They were representatives from the Department of ICT, the National Information and Communications Technology Authority, a PNG ICT professionals representative, and a master's student.
The main points that stood out was for ICT girls who took up ICT to fill in the gaps. It's a male-dominated field, and now we are seeing girls coming in and taking up that role.
Banjua pointed out that in spite of the crucial contributions made in the ICT sector, women continue to fight stereotypes. The main challenge was the tendency to treat women as less capable than men, and most times their expertise are often overlooked.
Even though you're a skilled female in that role, the male is always chosen over you. We see that in interviews. Even though you are qualified, you have the experience. We can address this by having more of this type of events and do more awarenesses that we females, we can do it.
This year, for the first time, UOT has hosted a bigger event.
When I was a student in 2014, there was a similar event organized by the ICT Services Department, but it wasn't that big event where everyone was involved. Last year, there was one organized within our department, but for this year it's a big one.
The ICT Support Officer is encouraging girls, especially in secondary school, to consider pursuing careers and studies in science, technology, engineering and mathematics, particularly ICT. In the 21st century, the digital sector has less than 30% of female professionals in STEM. Carol Kido Jr., TVWAN News.
A collaborative online school project involving over 300 secondary school students from Papua New Guinea and Australia have embarked on a project focused on addressing food insecurity in the region. The project included presentations by PNG chemistry researcher Dr. Yalina Poya, Food and Agriculture Organization Chief Economist Maximo Torero, and young farming champion Dylan Male.
Over 300 students from 15 schools in Papua New Guinea and Australia participated in an online collaborative school project aimed at exploring and addressing food insecurity in the region. The students engaged in discussions about climate change, land degradation, waste, fertilization and population growth, and their impact on food security locally and internationally. One of the teachers involved in the project, Jeffrey Mave from Karabat National School of Excellence, highlighted the importance of the project, saying something that really connects us today is food. We have a role to play to feed our population. By starting locally, we can also help globally. The project included presentations by PNG chemistry researcher Dr. Yalina Poya, Food and Agriculture Organization Chief Economist Maximo Torero, and young farming champion Dylan Male. These presentations provided much food for thought for the students' design considerations, and as part of the program, the students presented design prototypes and a promotional pitch to fellow schools. The initiative, known as the PNG Oz Partnership Secondary Schools, is managed by Tetra Tech International Development on behalf of the Australian Government and is supported by the Asia Education Foundation at Asia Link and the University of Melbourne. This project has provided an excellent opportunity for students to learn about the challenges of food insecurity and come up with the solutions, and it is hoped that initiatives like this will continue to be encouraged and supported. Carol Kido Jr., TV1 News.
The National Airports Corporation is proposing to the government to set the opening date of the newly upgraded Nadzap Tomodachi International Airport to September 2023. When giving a brief overview of the 750 million Kina Nadzap Airport redevelopment project, NAC Acting Managing Director Joseph Tupiri said the project is 90% complete and should conclude by the end of August. NAC is proposing that the Maraperoso government consider opening the newly upgraded airport in September this year. Tupiri outlined that the Australians handed Nadzap over to PNG as an independence gift. Hence, it would be fitting based on the economic cooperation that we have with Japan. The NAC is planning to do a 3-day opening program, particularly to celebrate PNG's tourism potential on the first day. The Marape government, since taking office, has made several commitments to reduce round log exports and invest in downstream processing. Despite the commitments, a recently released Log Export and Monitoring Report 2022 produced by independent firm that monitors log exports in PNG named SGS shows that the Marape government is at no progress at all in achieving this plan since taking office in 2019.
The recently released 2022 SGS report regarding log exports in Papua New Guinea largely contradicts the Marape government's pledge to reduce round log exports and cease the issuing of new licenses to foreign-owned logging companies. The report, titled Log Export and Monitoring Report December 2022, shows increases rather than reductions and highlights more than one commitment failure by the government. Community advocacy group Act Now says, contrary to Marape's commitment to reducing unprocessed log export volumes and increase downstream processing, the log export volume in 2022 actually increased by 10% in 2021 and was at highest level since 2019. Act Now campaign manager Eddie Tanago said in addition the PNG Forest Authority, as the responsible government agency for ensuring sustainable forest management and the allocation of timber harvesting rights, approved 9 new foreign-operated projects that started exports in 2022.
Again, this is a total contradiction to Prime Minister's promises that no new logging licenses will be given to foreign-owned logging companies.
Tanago adds that the Log Export and Monitoring Report also reveals clear defiance of a court order by Deputy Chief Justice Ambeng Kandakasi ordering a halt in logging in colonial-era timber rights patches or TRP projects. TRP was a form of agreement used during the colonial era between logging companies, the colonial administration, and landowners to allow the harvesting of timber. The TRP was outlawed in the Forestry Act 1991 and replaced by the Forest Management Agreement. The National Forestry Board has promised no new forest clearance authority in 2023, but in 2022, existing FCA projects contributed 33% of all log exports. Tanago said this is a clear sign these licenses are unlawfully being used as a cover for large-scale logging operations and not agricultural clearances. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
You're watching TV1 News. Among stories after the break, law students graduate and Tataro adamant to deliver.
Whether we're playing sport, exercising for fitness, being active for work or play, just having some fun, or just chilling, there is one name we can count on that we know will keep us going strong. Skell Rice. Healthy, nutritious, delicious medium grain rice full of vitamins and minerals. Skell helps us maintain a healthy, active lifestyle so we can enjoy every day.
Skell Rice. Skell Rice.
Hiya, Mama. You wait time, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magic Kakaro, get up and big smile on face. Time for Kim chicken, a great fumu too. Sip, sip, the moo, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
Open it.
right across the nation. We eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young planalapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one-time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Laga, Bunyamyumi.
Snyder just has to go to the right. They've got numbers. They get the pass away. That'll be a try.
Welcome back. The Law School of the University of Papua New Guinea witnessed its 68th graduation today. All 70 female and 60 male students received certificates either in Second Class Division 1 and Second Class Division 2, Pass and Diploma in Law Prosecution. The one-week graduation started with the School of Business and Public Policy. It concludes this Friday with the School of Medicine and Health Sciences.
The School of Law at the University of PNG had its 68th graduation at the Sir John Guy Stadium today. About 200 students received either a Bachelor of Law, Second Class Division 1 and Second Class Division 2, Pass and Diploma in Law Prosecution. The one-week graduation began with School of Business and Public Policy, followed by the School of Humanities and Social Science and School of Natural and Physical Science on Wednesday, and this Friday it concludes with UPNG School of Medicine and Health Sciences. UPNG Vice-Chancellor Frank Griffin acknowledged the graduates for keeping strong and committing to their studies.
Your degrees are comparable to any in the world. Let me repeat that. Your degree is comparable to any in the world, which means you can compete in your own subject area with anybody in the world. But it depends on you. It depends on how you progress yourself. So do not underestimate your degree. Progress yourself and make sure that you are competitive at the national, regional, and international level.
Senior partner from Denton's, PNG, Lady Winifred Kamit, was keynote speaker. She shared that law and justice is essential in the country and that today is an addition to the many law graduates in the country. She was proud that the School of Law had more females. Lady Winifred encouraged more girls to take up the course.
And so we have they be like eagles, having excellent vision to see and decipher detailed issues that will come before you. Gain the practical knowledge which you will attain in time or directly from your workplace experience. That experience which will take you to heights, to your personal gain and satisfaction, but also your worthy contribution to nation building and the global advancement towards an empowered society. So I say to 200 of you here, spread your wings and like eagles you are, soar on high.
The University of PNG is the only higher institution in the country that has a law school. Jasmine Nero, TVWAN News.
Bowie Courtney Agiru was among 70 female law graduates today. She is the daughter of late Anderson Agiru, former governor for Hela and Southern Highlands. Agiru is the only daughter of the late leader and was proud to be among the graduating class of the 68th graduation ceremony.
Amongst the 71 females that graduated from the School of Law is Bowie Courtney Agiru, daughter of late statesman Anderson Agiru, former governor for Hela and Southern Highlands Province. Miss Agiru is the only daughter of the late leader and was proud to be one of the graduating class of the 68th graduation ceremony.
It's overwhelming, mixed feelings. I don't know, a little bit of sadness for the people who couldn't be here, but overall just happiness that I'm past a milestone and another chapter and looking forward to the next.
The late statesman passed away on April 26, 2016. His daughter shared how she felt graduating with a degree on the eve of her father's 7th death anniversary.
It's uncanny because our initial graduation date was supposed to be tomorrow, but they changed it to today, so I'm actually here. If it was yesterday, if it was tomorrow, I wouldn't have been here. But yeah, it's kind of a reminder that he's still around, watching over me. I don't know, it's just overwhelming. But overall, happiness. I know if he was here, he'd be really happy. He'd be there, probably screaming his head off, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, he's done his bit, taught me what I needed to know, and I've come this far. So yeah, all kudos to him and everyone else behind me.
Miss Agiru showed gratitude towards her late dad's best friend and Enga Governor Peter Ipatas for his support, as well as her family and friends who kept her steady on her feet until today.
Growing up, he always encouraged me to do what I wanted with my life. Never really liked me in the political arena. It was always do what you want. Don't let other people's expectations get in the way of, or cloud your judgment, or cloud your path in life. Back in Ramu, my dad's best friend, Peter Ipata, has been a really crucial role model in my life. His family is actually here. His wife was able to attend today. So I have a lot of great friends in uni. They've made life so much easier. The ones who passed out, my journalism friends are amazing. They're basically my mothers. And it's so good to see like my friends out there just doing the best that they can and having like reached that fine life, and really motivates me. But yeah, my family and friends have been.
Jasmine Nero, TVWAN News.
Newly appointed chairman of Oil Palm Industry Corporation Robert Tatauro is adamant to deliver the government's vision of growing 100,000 hectares of oil palm annually for 5 years. Tatauro said the oil palm industry is the biggest commodity in terms of export earnings.
The oil palm industry has contributed more than 2 billion kina to government coffers every year. Newly appointed chairman of the OPIC board, Robert Tatauro, says they will work closely with other stakeholders, including the milling companies, to drive the agenda of growing 100,000 hectares of oil palm.
We will also look into establishing other smallholder sectors in other provinces. As our minister stated yesterday or the day before yesterday, that we will make sure that this industry becomes an industry that goes right throughout the country, and that we will make sure to roll out the same programs that we have into other provinces that are now ready to take up oil palm as a commodity within their provinces.
Mr. Tatauro highlighted he would like to improve the status of the Oil Palm Corporation and focus on extension services which have deteriorated over the years. To do this, they will go back to basics with smallholder sectors.
Oil palm will no longer be a commodity owned by just one province or just one region. We will be looking at and ensuring that oil palm will now be grown in most of the coastal provinces. And we will ensure that we will meet up with all the government targets, implement every policy, and build a good working relationship with the government body, departments, and also our stakeholders within the open industry.
Meanwhile, Agustin Kapi, president of the Oskins Oil Palm Growers Association, has been appointed deputy chairman of the OPIC board. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
Member for Nipa Kutubu, Dr. Billy Joseph, is calling on the Southern Highlands Provincial Administration to clarify the appointment of local-level government managers and provincial affairs officers for the Mount Bosavi LLG in the Nipa Kutubu district. He said it was important because Mount Bosavi accounts need legitimate signatories.
Nipa Kutubu MP Dr. Billy Joseph would like the Southern Highlands Provincial Administration to clarify substantive positions for the Mount Bosavi LLG because there is confusion on who is the legitimate District Affairs Manager and LLG Manager for the Mount Bosavi local level government. Dr. Joseph said there is tussle between Alphonse Yaka and Gunaba Alibe over who is the legitimate officer and therefore signatory to the Mount Bosavi accounts. He said this infighting has prevented funding from being used to bring services and development to the people of Mount Bosavi.
Because the confusion is la position na, only changing signatories go come na, all plenty money work lose na. I need the provincial government to fix this and fix this immediately. Our people in Mount Bosavi, one kina you go and settle this like all the royalties or something. It has to go to making sure that services in Mount Bosavi is delivered. But me work no settle. I mean, okay, most of this money is spent in Port Moresby on lawyers, in court, hire cars, and all kinds of middlemen, consultants, and everything. And no got one the money in a service got a place.
Dr. Billy wants this matter resolved immediately.
You fix this issue with appointment or LLG manager and district affairs manager. Because they are the signatories to the operational account law. Man Bosavi na plan the fight will come up. Now they are really disturbing service delivery to Man Bosavi.
The local MP said he is aware of people who have been fueling the fire in this infighting and is asking that they stop or will face the law. Susan Oreape, TVWAN News.
Number One Super's current net value totals over 8 billion kina with a net profit of 144 million kina for the year 2022. NSL management announced financial results for the year 2022 this morning. Number One Super Limited announced today the Super Fund's 2022 financial results. With a current net value of 8.99 billion kina and a net profit of 144 million kina, the fund was able to credit member accounts with an interest of 1.6%. This brought total member payouts to 1 billion kina to 30,000 members, the highest ever in the history of the fund.
This is quite a significant achievement for Number One Super, as it shows clearly that regardless of economic conditions or social factors, our members' funds will always remain safe with us and will be available to them as soon as they are ready to retire.
In 2022, NSL saw several of their investments come under pressure due to a combination of the introduction of the additional company tax on BSP Financial Group Limited, late payments of state rental errors, unfunded state shares, and vested benefits, including high global and local inflation.
The total valuation losses for 2022 represent 274 million unrealized loss from our offshore valuations and a 27 million unrealized loss from our investment property valuations. These losses were slightly cushioned by a 39 million unrealized gain from our unlisted equities and a 14 million unrealized gain from our shares listed on PNG Stock Exchange.
NSL states that even as they experienced challenges, the fund continues to strategically deploy funds into investments that they expect will continue to bear fruit for their members long into the future.
Since the super reforms came in 2000, NSL has delivered an average interest rate of over 10%, over the last 22 years. As such, I encourage our members to remember that from year to year, results go up and down. However, super is for the long term. Our results speak for themselves and show that our savings are safe with us and will grow over the long term, despite experience the occasional tough year.
The fund emphasizes that it is normal for some years to yield great returns while other years don't. The fund assures that members' funds are protected against any losses. This is TV1 News. When we return, a look at what's making headlines around the region.
All-One Talks adds some excitement to your festivities with the Flame Easter Bonanza. Win a slice of a whopping 300,000 kina by purchasing the Flame Family Bundle Pack, which includes rice, sugar, flour and vegetable oil, all in one go. Highlight these goodies on your receipt and scribble your full name and contact details on the back and pop it in the entry box in selected stores across PNG. 4 fortnightly draws, 100 winners, 3,000 kina each. You don't want to miss out. This promotion ends on the 31st of May. Flame, strength and energy. Terms and conditions apply.
From the rich soils of the highlands, the finest coffee has been grown by generations of Papua New Guineans, expertly blended and roasted with over 80 years of experience, making the finest cup of Nescafe New Guinea blend, PNG's own coffee.
Hardware House is more than just a store. It is where quality meets affordability, where culture is proudly celebrated. Spanning 9 provinces, we pride ourselves in offering top-notch customer support and services. We're more than just a store. We're more than a brand. We are Hardware House.
Dear son, you ask me how I live such a good life. Yes, I've had some good luck, like the day I met your mother. But it wasn't always that way. I've made some good choices too, like working hard and keeping my super with NASFAN. They looked after it for me, which meant I could concentrate on looking after my family. Living each day, knowing that when the time came, I'd be ready for tomorrow. Love, Dad.
Superstition ain't the way.
Ezra Mann throws a dummy. No way. What a ball! It's batted back, try! Sheldon Cobbo with a chance to race away. The young gun, have a look at this. But there's a pass to Walker and back to Cash. You wouldn't believe it. Sounds have snatched it.
Welcome to MotoGP. To be a highly dramatic 18-lap Malaysian Grand Prix Moto2 started with...
So that's a very decent middle sector for the Alpine. They only half a second.
They have crashed. They've got into each other.
What a start for Will Davison. Di Pasquale has been swamped.
Some of the biggest and most talented egos in sailing.
It's the two-time defending champions making 2 in a row.
Welcome back. Turning overseas, Australia will host the next meeting of the International Diplomatic Partnership of Leaders, known as the Quad, in Sydney next month. The leaders of India, Japan and the United States will join Prime Minister Anthony Albanese at the Opera House for the first time.
We'll be discussing the global economic environment that we know is under pressure due to global inflationary pressures. We know that we live in a more insecure world with strategic competition in our region, with the ongoing impact of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. But we also know that our friends are ones which we have such a strong relationship with.
Planning is underway for United States President Joe Biden to make a historic visit to Papua New Guinea on his way to Australia next month as the U.S. continues to ramp up its diplomatic push in the Pacific. PNG and U.S. officials say that Mr. Biden is likely to meet his PNG counterpart, James Marape, and other Pacific leaders in Port Moresby after attending the G7 leaders in Hiroshima on May 20 and 21, and before he travels to Australia for the Quad leaders meeting in Sydney on May 24. Biden's trip to PNG has not yet been fully locked in. Meanwhile, the U.S. is expanding its diplomatic network in Pacific nations, opening a new embassy in Solomon Islands and preparing to establish new diplomatic missions in Vanuatu, Kiribati, and Tonga. There are new renewed calls for the job seeker payment to be increased, including from within government ranks.
Anthony Albanese soon to play hometown host in the harbour city.
There at the Sydney Opera House,
chairing a high-powered meeting of world leaders.
A chance for us to work cooperatively with the United States, Japan and India.
And, like last year when the Quad leaders met in Tokyo, global inflation caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine will be on the agenda.
Every advanced economy taking measures that could be seen as extraordinary.
The Albanese government keen to extend one such measure, a price cap on wholesale gas to be left in place until 2025.
With exemptions for major producers who make legally enforceable commitments on supply and price, and for smaller players supplying the domestic market.
This gives enormous discretion to the government about how they treat individual players in the industry.
The Treasurer adamant it's cost of living relief of the best kind, easing pressure on households while not further stoking inflation. But Jim Chalmers is facing a concerted campaign to dig deeper, a fortnight out from the budget.
The first priority must be a substantial increase to JobSeeker.
4 Labor MPs backing calls for an increase to the unemployment benefit, youth allowance and some related payments.
I think it's really important that we actually enable people to live dignified, meaningful lives.
It is tough to live on the job seeker payment, and that's why we want to move as many people as we can off that payment and into good, secure, well-paid jobs.
Targeted cost of living relief is coming in the budget. Pensioners and some welfare recipients will receive help with their power bills, and the government appears poised to extend the single parent payment until their youngest child reaches high school. The Treasurer says he'll be prioritising the most vulnerable within the constraints of what's fiscally possible.
Remote Northern Territory communities were battered by floods and rain earlier this year, with residents displaced to Darwin for weeks.
Surrounded by water and forced to evacuate. This week, the long and arduous journey home is expected to come to an end.
We've seen the repatriation efforts over the past couple of weeks taking effect. There's been a lot of anxieties as to what people will be coming back to. People whose houses are still affected to get back on their land. It also gives them the opportunity to get back working and also be a part of the recovery process.
The last batch of buses now beginning to leave Howard Springs. Efforts to send the approximately 700 people home continues to be a challenge.
We had been hoping to stand down Howard Springs as a facility for a couple of weeks, but we did see further wet weather through that Easter period. But we have had hundreds of people have been repatriated home.
Today, it's hoped everyone from Darguragu and Kalkarinji will be back in their community, but for others, the wait will be a little longer.
Pigeonhole, as we know, we saw the whole community impacted, and so it was worked through where best to relocate residents closer to home so that they could start to be involved in the processes of moving forward with new homes, but really getting them back where they'd like to be.
Pigeonhole residents will trade one temporary home for another and are expected to leave for Yarralin on Sunday. The ABC has received reports in addition to other temporary accommodation, tents are being set up for some of those evacuees.
In some communities we had houses completely written off, but there was other homes habitable or not impacted, and so the community came together and was able to work through how people would be housed.
While the number of people at Howard Springs continues to decrease, the road to recovery is still a long one, with no set date for residents to return to Pigeonhole.
The widow of football champion Danny Frawley has made a powerful plea to the AFL to act now to prevent CTE.
Brave and resolute, Anita Frawley spoke of the decline of her husband's brain just 1 month before he killed himself.
I remember standing in our kitchen with fear in my eyes, looking at my husband and just thinking, I don't know this man and who he is. This is not the man I married. This is because the Danny I married loved life and lived it to the full.
Frawley died in a car crash in September 2019, and a post-mortem examination of the 56-year-old's brain found he was suffering from CTE, a condition which has been linked to repeated blows to the head. Giving evidence to a Senate inquiry probing concussion in sport, Ms Frawley says the AFL can't afford to wait for the results of long-term studies when the association between football and CTE is already known.
My two eldest daughters have both just got engaged. During the happiest moments of their lives so far, the incredible sadness that their dad is not here to celebrate with them and to walk them down the aisle is always present. Our lives will forever be touched by sadness, even in our happiest times.
League executives were asked why the AFL doesn't have a policy on CTE.
I don't think that we need to have a policy to show how seriously we take CTE in our sport. As I've noted, we have guidelines, research projects.
The AFL's Chief Medical Officer says a cultural problem persists where players hold back on reporting concussion.
I've seen quite a shift in that culture. I don't think we're there yet. I think we need some continued education.
Ms Frawley says the AFL isn't doing enough and the time to act is now.
We've got answers sitting there and we can do things now, and it's especially the ones that are suffering at the moment that I really worry about.
And that ends the news segment. We now have the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. That was the weather forecast. Next in sport, Hunters to regroup and tap in on Dolphins partnership. Those stories and more with Terry after the break.
There's a story in that dressing room of rock that rose from dust. There is courage you can count on and a mateship you can trust. There comes a time when you must fight. And it lights an inner fire that electrifies the night. Yet, above the heaving cauldron and beyond the mighty game, there's a legion in your corner and its colour bleeds the same.
Whiten, yes! Put it for Holmes! What a ball! What a try to Valentine! Over the top, it's an open passage for Timbo! Is something cooking here? You bet it is! Now Cleary, oh, Ben Hunt! It's been pitched by Ben Hunt! Hunt wins the Origin for Queensland!
Am I gonna die? I was hoping to get to know you.
Every beginning is the end.
How is Robbie doing?
He's in the ER and needs the operation, but we're short on cash. What should we do now?
I will figure it out.
You attempted to rob a bank, but what for?
It wasn't my fault. Would you please believe me?
And every end is the start of something new.
I love you so much, Emma.
I will be Robbie's father from now on.
Well, folks, after literally years of negotiation between the Fan and the management of Steve Menzies, we have secured the great man for the show. Welcome to the Fan.
This is all going through my head, and then all of a sudden he passes it back. Oh, my God.
Today we have enlisted the help of Panthers co-captain and superstar halfback.
When you've kicked it well, you usually know, and especially on the chip kicks, I usually know.
Thanks to Nathan Cleary, invaluable insight for the fans out there, for the kids out there.
It's a retro party every Monday, 7 p.m. Non-stop retro music, back to the 70s. Born in the 80s. You will love the 90s mega hits. Join us for a retro music party, Monday, 7 p.m.
Welcome back. In sports, Roosters forward Victor Radley's infamous sin-binning record continued, albeit in an extremely controversial fashion, in Tuesday's thrilling Anzac Day clash against the Dragons. Radley's head appeared to have made incidental contact with the head of Dragons prop Michael Molo in the 63rd minute. Radley was sent to 10 by referee Adam G, claiming shoulder to the head contact. His 8th sin bin, Radley is now tied with Latrell Mitchell as the most sin bin player in NRL history.
Had a look at it over and over again. So I see the head clash. You know, that's the shots that I didn't see any shoulder contact from any. I don't think any of the televisions that I saw, but I know there's more angles. So Rads was adamant that it was head on head. You see where the head contact is, but yeah, unless they show more angles there, then I can only go on what I've seen so far.
After 2 consecutive disappointing defeats at the hands of Burleigh Bears and Northern Pride, the PNG Hunters are looking to turn things around this week when they host winless Mackay Cutters at the Santos National Football Stadium in Round 7 of the Q Cup Host Plus Cup on Saturday. Hunters had a promising start to their 2023 Host Plus Cup campaign, registering 1 win, 1 loss and a draw, but lost their good form after the long Easter break.
Came of the Hunters, I suspect.
After 2 dismal performances against Northern Pride and Burleigh Bears in rounds 5 and 6, PNG Hunters head coach Stanley Teppen is making no excuses, with a big ask for a change in attitude and mindset from his playing group, moving into this weekend's round 7 clash against the winless Mackay Cutters at the Santos National Football Stadium. After the Easter long weekend break, the Hunters had an extra week off, which did not help. Coach Teppen, however, said as a professional outfit, there's no excuses for the past 2 losses, which were winnable. He said lack of intensity and consistency in their defense, coupled with incomplete sets and ill discipline, really let them down, adding they need to be better against the Mackay Cutters this weekend. TVWAN said the team will be without Sakias Komati, who's been suspended for one game.
For us, just to come back, regroup, stay calm. I think it's important that we stay calm and you know, we're at home, so we just have to make sure we start strong. And we've got one suspension, Saki Peters out, which is it's unfortunate for us. He's been really good, but you know, he got sin bin there again. So these are lessons, disciplinary lessons as a team, and him being out, hopefully the boys can learn from that, and we just fix where we can. So either young Josh or Judah will come into for Saki. We'll make that call tomorrow.
TVWAN said while there'll be a number of positional changes, last week's team will be maintained, and also highlighted the importance of having impact players coming off the bench.
We've been lucky. We started Koso last week. We just thought that you know, try something different from that Pride game, but he'll go back onto the bench. Junior will start with Epil, unchanged except for Saki going out because of suspension. But otherwise, yeah, we just need the bench boys, Henry Wan, Koso, Tommy Moide, and whoever plays that 14 role to bring energy. We've just been having those effort areas where just that energy from the bench we've lacked when the game has been tough there. So that's what we've spoken about, and hopefully we'll do that on the weekend.
The coach has also pointed out a number of grey areas that the team has to be better at, adding we have a formidable side with a lot of flair in our attack. They just need to step up in their discipline and be consistent, which is all about staying positive and working hard to improve their game.
Hunters coach Lenny TVWAN is happy with the selection of centre Roderick Tai and fullback Mora training with the NRL Dolphins for the next 4 weeks. He said the Hunters are very fortunate to continue that existing partnership with the Dolphins, which is good for the boys to continue their development. Mora and Tai will train full-time with the Dolphins NRL squad over the next month, while lining up with for the PNG Hunters to continue in the Q Cup on the weekend.
We're fortunate to have them back, but that relationship, they've been keeping an eye on our players, and yeah, we got that call from the Dolphins to, especially Morea, the way he started the season. So the good thing is they'll come back each week and play with us. So I think they travel back on Friday, captain's run, and then they'll play with us, and then they'll travel back on Monday. That arrangement's going to be on for 4 weeks, but if they want them for longer, they'll keep them. I think it's good too for Moria's development to learn from the best down there as well.
Western Highlander and PNG Hunters utility back rower Benji Court is keen to make an impression when the Hunters meet Mackay Cutters in round 6 of the Host Plus Cup this Saturday at the Santos National Football Stadium. Court, who's been shifted between middle forward and centre positions since making his debut in 2021, admitted he's still got a lot of work to do on his game.
Now into his 3rd season at the Hunters, the former ISO Cutters centre stands up as a leader in the pack and a mentor for the new players in the team. PNG Hunters utility back rower Benji Court said he's had a slow start to the new season and admitted he really let the boys down in the last 2 games.
We had a strong side, but most of the players, especially in the middles, they are new. They knew the system and all this stuff, so our start wasn't good. But we're working. Like every training session, we're working hard towards it to like make them know the system, especially in middles. So we'll fix them. Maybe we sort it out and get some win down.
Juggling positions between back rower and centre has become a norm for him. He said his defence, especially on the left edge, let the team down last week. Moving forward, Court is rallying behind the new boys to step up this weekend and turn the season around.
In my first year of joining Hunters, I've been playing back row for all season. Then the second year, used to come up, play seconds, bend back to center, all this. And it's not new to me. Like, I'm good with that. Actually, I need to improve most of the areas, especially coming, like, depending at the try line or sideline. It's like there's more pressure, yeah. If, like, inside, the boys inside in the middle, if they don't work, like, push inside and coming out, it's a lot of pressure. We used to jam, like, even doesn't make the tackle, the try, and the stuff. So, like, I have to work need to work a lot of things.
And of course, he said lack of momentum and flow in their game makes it harder for the team to execute their set pieces and unleash their unorthodox hunters' attacking flair, which has been missing in their game. Coach said the boys won't be underestimating cutters and will give it their all on Saturday to get back into the winner's circle.
You don't have to, like, underestimate any teams, especially like cutters doesn't like win any games. That means that we'll have an easy game here. No. It's going to be a hard game. So obviously, like, we have to work hard to win this game. It's not like they are lost, so we have to relax and win this game. And one of the things, like, what we said is we have to turn these things around, maybe to win home games and turn things around for us to have a good season.
PNG's new kid on the block, Junior Igila, is relishing this opportunity to be part of the 2023 Hunter squad after missing out in 2020. It was second time lucky for the Hela native, who has kept off a 2022 Digital Cup season with an impressive grand final victory for his local franchise Hela Wigman over Rabaul Gurias. To finally make the Hunters' final cut was a dream come true for Junior Igila, who's now embracing the Hunters' culture with a good attitude to learn as much from the coaching staff and experienced players in the squad. Igila admitted the first 11 weeks of preseason was tough, but through hard work and perseverance, he got through. He said it's been an amazing journey and a great learning curve for him, learning a lot of new skills and techniques about playing at the QRL level.
Every dream of the PNG rugby league players is to make the Hunters cut. For new players coming to Hunters game, really, honored and really good to be part of this 2023 season.
Igila's QRL Host Pass Cup debut was at Ballot Park, Cairns against Northern Pride in round 5 2 weeks ago, where he started off the bench. Though the Hunters lost, it was an unreal experience for him.
Time to now, the game was fast and within 10 and 20 minutes I was so to win. Pressure out there. I'm very confident now. If they give me a chance to play, prove myself with that.
Igila, though did not make the team last week, is looking forward for a call-up this week when the Hunters host Mackay Cutters at the Santos National Football Stadium on Saturday.
It'll be a boost for us as a players. I believe we're going to win this game this weekend.
And that's the sports segment for now. Mary.
Thank you, Terry. That ends another edition of TVWAN News. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.